money. He puts it in. 0 seconds remaining. The team's gonna be playing hard for it. Oh my goodness. What is this?
Doesn't get the touch he's looking for. Kato, he's got the giant. Oh, he gets the flick and he gets it through. He's gonna give a shot. He's gonna put it in. Back to back. Backward. Can he find the touch? He's gonna put the shot on the net.
High off the backboard here. Opportunity. Pick up the shot.
Hold on. Surely this can't. Oh my lord.
Go with the shot. It's gonna go in.
Stay on the goal line. He did nearly all sweep. It comes through. The venom, the improbable, the impossible, the 4-time champions.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Nemesis Gaming League. I'm your best friend, Gallium, and today I'm joined by my teammate and one of my good friends, Jaegers. How are you doing today, Jaegers?
I am doing a little bit better now that I'm here casting with you, Gallium. I'm ready for some pretty good matches, but first we got some I think we got a little announcement right now.
Oh yeah, every Monday before the first match, we have Players of the Week, and this Monday is no different. So we'll start off with Novice. We'll get these over with so you guys can watch the first game on stream. Novice, we have Chunklight from Acceleration winning Player of the Week in the Novice League. Anything about Chunklight that sticks out to you, Jaegers?
Yeah, he averaged over 500 points a game, which is pretty phenomenal, especially in Novice. He only played 3 games, I believe, looking at the fantasy stats. But he did have 25.73 points, which is a lot for one series.
That's kind of ridiculous.
Kind of nuts.
Congrats, Chunklight. Well deserved. But moving on, Prospect, we have Lucky winning, and I'm not surprised on that one. Lucky, obviously a player for the Warhawks. I mean, you've seen his clips probably on the Clips channel. He's absolutely nuts. Anything about Lucky here, Jaegers?
Oh yeah, I mean, Lucky, I believe he's averaging like 470 points a game, something ridiculous like that. I'm trying to pull it up on the fantasy side of things. It's kind of hard whenever it doesn't get updated, But
Wow.
no shade, no shade,
No shade. Yeah, I mean, the
but yeah,
commissioner's
no,
out of commission for now, so
yeah, I know. There's only so much he could do. But yeah, no. Lucky averaged, I believe it was 450 points a game.
Oh my gosh.
470 this last week, which is really solid for Prospect. And looks like he only won one of his games though.
That'll do it.
But yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
Good
the
enough
other
to
game
be
was
player
on
of the
stream.
week.
Yeah, the one of the
Oh
games was
yeah.
on stream. He unfortunately got swept, but he got some good points. But moving on to Challenger, we have one of the players who is playing on stream tonight. We have iTrots from Snowstorm winning in the Challenger League. Anything about iTrots that sticks out to you, Jaegers?
Well, iTrots certainly popped off last week, and another interesting thing I heard in the grapevine is that iTrots really thought he was going to win Player of the Week, and
Wow.
well, he was right.
He
He was
manifested it,
right. He
There we
manifested.
go.
Sometimes you gotta manifest stuff.
I can't wait to watch him play tonight. He averages 3.8 shots a game, so he's very much a shooter. So I can't wait to watch him play the Minotaurs, or not the Minotaurs, the Griffins later tonight. Moving up to the Rival League, we have Flip winning it, and he's on Whiteout. Not to be confused with Flip 1010, the other Flip. And I actually watched one of his games, and he popped off. I mean, he just looks so fast, and I'm not surprised he won it this week, to be honest here, Jaegers.
Nah, he really popped off. They do, players really like to make names confusing. But yeah, no, he averaged 10. He had 10 goals in 7 games, which is kind of ridiculous, and 51 fantasy points.
Wow. That is pretty ridiculous. But, last but not least, Jaegers, we'll end this off on an org player that we're in, Space Jam represent. We have Titan
you.
League. We have Denzi from Nebula winning the Titan League Player of the Week. And this dude went absolutely off despite being on the lower end of the Sal spectrum here, Jaegers.
Which is tough to do whenever you're in a league with 2K players. He was actually at the top of the Titan leaderboard this last week with 46 points. So go ahead. It's hard
That's
to
all you,
to
bro.
pop off in Titan,
That's
But
hey,
he did it.
hey, he's him, bro. I mean, you just gotta look at it like that. But that is our Players of the Week. Congratulations to everyone who won it, of course. But guys, we're gonna start at the pinnacle, no pun intended, of the leagues. Titan League. We're gonna start off with Dragons, who are 2-2, taking on an 0-4 Pinnacle team. They've been struggling, but we're about to get this one underway. I believe everyone's in the lobby. It's looking real good, and both these teams, I'm just gonna go over the rosters just real quick. Pinnacle has Mogi, Monster, Wolf, and Frijole, and Dragons have Bluey, Vulcan, Prism, and Oscar. So, I mean, honestly, both teams pretty solid. Obviously, Pinnacle struggling, but I mean, both of these teams, if they win today, it could be the start of something special. I mean, Titan League is it fluctuates from week to week, so we'll see which team can get the win. We have Dragons versus Pinnacles up right now, and Jaegers, I gotta get a prediction from you, man. Who you got?
Well, I mean, right now we have a couple of AI bots also in the match. So I was unaware this is a fours league, but here we are. It looks like everyone's leaving the lobby. But yeah, no, the Dragons are 2-2. They've been alternating wins and losses, and Pinnacle still looking for their first dub on the season. They did make a move. They recently dropped Kratos, picked up what is his name? I was looking at it earlier. It was Mogi. And Kratos is a very good player, may not have just meshed well with the team. But Mogi's looking to make some changes, see if they could turn around the season. And one thing I noticed about the Dragons is they've been alternating wins and losses, and their last match was a win. So is it fate? Is it gonna happen? I see Pinnacle getting their first win of the season here.
Hey, against a team like the Dragons, even if they lose this game, the Wednesday game, I mean, according to the pattern, they're just going to win that one. So, if you're the Dragons, you can look forward to that. But on the Dragons, Bluey and Vulcan have been teamed forever. Like,
Oh,
I
they really
think,
have.
yeah, I think I remember them back in like season 9 starting the team, if I'm not mistaken. They've been here for a while. Apparently, they love each other's company. I don't know how you can deal with another player for that many seasons. They must have a really special bond here, Jaegers, like we have. I mean, let's be
I,
honest here.
I guess so. Just chemistry trumps all. And if you enjoy playing with someone else, you enjoy playing the game. It makes you want to show up. And so I mean, it's been working for the Dragons. Why change it up?
Yeah, exactly. But while we're still waiting on players to get into the lobby, I'll give you a preview of some of the other games we have on tonight. At 8:45, we have Faded taking on Velocity, and then 9:30, Griffins versus Snowstorm. So stick around; those games are going to be great. But we finally have Dragons taking on Pinnacle for real this time, and the kickoff is going to go the way of Pinnacle. Mogi up with it. Now Bluey takes it right from him. A nice 50 coming out. Wolf. Beautiful 50. Wolf, a player I'm unfamiliar with, as well as Mogi. Monster's
good
the only
bomb.
player. Yeah, that's insane. Monster's the only player on Pinnacle that I really am familiar with. So I'm excited to see some new faces as Monster gets a nice
Oh, that
shot.
was a good
Low
pass.
shot. That's insane.
And yeah, no, that just a nice little pass. Bluey not a little awkward. Monster's gonna pass. Well, honestly, you know what? That's just a great play by Monster. No pass, nothing. Pinnacle just takes the lead.
Pinnacle is what they call them. Obviously they haven't done any winning this season, but I mean, as you mentioned, the roster moves that they've
Prism.
made. Oh my gosh!
Prism.
Whoa!
Oh my goodness.
Prism, are you insane?
Apparently he is. Nice little ceiling shot, double tap. The defense not suspecting, and Gallium, this is Titan League. This is what we show up for, and you know what? This is what we get.
Yeah, exactly. It's such an entertaining league, just seeing how good you can really get at Rocket League. And that was just an insane play. I'm not gonna lie, he did it all himself. Usually, you see some team plays coming out from these Titan squads, but I mean, Prism just took it all into his own hands. He is around the 1900 range, so he is definitely in the upper echelon of Titan. And teaming with Bluey and Vulcan, you gotta be a great player, and that's a great play. As Monster's up with it, Prism gonna deflect it back into the midfield. Bluey gonna get 50'd out by Mogi, and now Vulcan control touch gets the boost, but wait a second, it's floating. Not gonna be any fuss there. Monster off the sidewall gonna get a touch. Prism gonna get a nice 50. Now Wolf is panicking a little bit. Wait,
no.
Vulcan with 0 boost. Wait,
Oh.
whoa. tactical fakes coming out, Jaegers. I mean, you do those all the time. Same with me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Has to keep the opponents guessing. If you don't know what they're doing, the opposing team definitely doesn't know what they're doing. And for real though, I mean, Titan's a very paced league, so you have to read everything. And if one person whiffs, that throws off the next few seconds, which is what we just saw there.
Yeah, and I feel like I hear a lot of players in the higher leagues complaining about playing in some of the lower MMR lobbies because it's just confusing. Like the lower MMR lobbies just don't play the same as Titan lobbies or like rival lobbies. As whoa, a nice shot coming out from Prism, almost on target there. Monster gonna take it down the field, a 1v1 for now, but it seems as though the Dragons have recuperated back in the defensive side. Wolf off the backboard, now Prism. A nice touch, can't get a second. He doesn't have any boost. Tactical fake yet again. Mogi gets one. Flip reset in tow, but wait a second. A nice touch by Vulcan. Wolf gonna be there to corral it. He misses his touch. Bluey with the shot. Unable to find the back of the net. Vulcan across to the other team, but you know what, Bluey, great cut coming out from the Bluester as Prism off the ceiling. Monster gonna take that one. He has it on top of his card. He goes low for the second time in his second goal.
And nice little dribble play by Monster. I believe that was Vulcan thinking he was going to go high, and Monster just took the 50 down low, escorted the ball into the back of the net, and put his team up by 1.
You know, that's some real good plays coming out from Monster. I knew he was an absolute dog. That's why I was surprised that his team's 0-4, but it looks like they might get their first win as you predicted here, Jaegers. They've just looked so strong so far, and it seems like their offense is, I mean, not only Monster doing great plays, but they've had a lot of chances due to Wolf and Mogi stepping up to the plate as well here, Jaegers.
Yeah, no, Pinnacle has had more quality chances than Dragon so far, and that's going to be another one. Mogi putting it top right. The Dragons defense was just not ready for him.
You know, as I mentioned, I mean, Mogi and Wolf, you know, you thought it was all Monster. No. Yeah, Wolf and Mogi just proved you wrong right there. Beautiful pass, and of course, a beautiful shot. Upper right echelon. As wait a second, a 50 going the way of, oh my goodness. What a save by Mogi. That 50 was very unfavorable, but they get it right back. Monster trying to send it across. He is successful. A backflip coming out from Mogi. He's going to miss a touch yet again. Seems like Pinnacle's panicking a little bit. Dragons can capitalize. It's off the backboard. Bluey going to attempt to get one. A nice 50 coming out. It's floating. No more danger in the Pinnacle zone. Now it's going to be sent out into the midfield. Wolf gets one. Can he get a second? Of course he can. Maybe a third. I mean, have yourself a day here, Wolf. It's Vulcan sending it down. Bluey almost with the redirect, but he gets deflected himself as Prism going to take a nice shot, but it's a pass to Bluey. Bluey with a full tank of boost. He doesn't have the second touch. That was so close, and the Dragons starting to show some signs of life here, Jaegers.
Yeah, no, you know, Gallium, I thought they were showing signs of life in the first 30 seconds, but then they kind of regressed a little bit, kind of shelled up, let Pinnacle just operate on offense, but they're starting to fight back a little bit, but one might think, is it a little too late? Still plenty of time here, though.
Oh, yeah, of course, as Mogi off the ceiling flip reset
Oh my
double!
goodness, Mogi.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness, nice little shot by Mogi. Like, we were talking about the Dragons potentially coming back, and Mogi just shut that door closed in game 1 with a nice little shot there.
Mogi, that's all you, bro. That's all you. Yeah, you can have that one. You know, the Dragons didn't even want, you know, to save it anyway. That was all you. As whoa, Monster, a little bit of a miss here.
Oh,
Wolf
was that
and
pinch?
Monster, a nice pinch coming out, taking a little play out of our playbook, Jaegers. As Monster gonna try to take a shot off the backboard. It goes Wolf, another backboard shot, but wait, the backflip is so powerful, and Monster gonna get his hat trick.
Hey, you know what? I mean, it was just enough. Monster timed it just fast enough for a little BM. As you know, it's not the prettiest shot, but it's the shot that went in the back of the net, and that's what matters.
You know, backflips are so underrated, especially these days, you know, and he proved it right there. As 15 seconds left, virtually impossible for the Dragons to come back. So let's transition to what they can do better here, Jaegers. I mean, obviously they lost by 4, not a great start to a series where you have the upper hand, record-wise, and obviously this is a new Pinnacle team. A nice save coming out, and the ball is down. Pinnacle going to take a 1-0 lead, and the Dragons just like I don't know, it just seemed very uncoordinated, and individually they just looked really kind of panicky, and they were very unsure of their own touches. They basically let Pinnacle do whatever they wanted, and it really showed there as a 5-1 victory for Pinnacle. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, and Vulcan with a little car change here. I do know Bluey has been around. Very good player. Normally did not pop off in that last game. If the Dragons want to win that one, they're going to need Bluey to put in a little bit more work. And honestly, Dragons just need to stay on offense. They need to get off of defense. They're just letting Pinnacle operate. And they're giving Pinnacle too much space. And from what it seems like, Pinnacle is a pretty mechanical team. So and that's a one thing you can't do against mechanical teams.
Yeah. I mean, Prism had an insane shot early, but that was pretty much the best chance they had all game, and it came from one player. So obviously Rocket League is a team-based game, and if you want to win, all three of your players have to be super coordinated and mesh well together. So we'll just count that game as a fluke. Brand new game right here. Game number 2. We're taking a trip down to the train station. And Jaegers, do you think the Dragons get over the hump here, or is it going to be kind of the same story as game 1?
I think it's going to be closer. I think it partially could be stream nerves. I know Titan players quote unquote don't care, but like stream nerves get everyone. You want to perform in front of people, and but I don't know. I do think Pinnacle is going to end up winning this game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer.
Yeah, 100%. As Dragons are already threatening here, taking their time, and a great touch from Wolf. If it was on target, that most certainly would have been a goal. Off the backboard, Monster can't 50 out Bluey. Now Mogi with a full tank of boost. Excellent demo from Bluey. You do not want to let that man off the ceiling with a full tank of boost. Vulcan gonna get a touch himself. He's struggling to grab boost. He finally does. Wolf with 0 boost of his own, gonna get bumped yet again. Monster taking a shot, and it was on target, but Bluey gonna save that one away. Bluey gets 1. Prism gonna continue it. He doesn't have anyone with boost, but they don't know that. Vulcan gonna get demoed out again. A lot of demos here as it's off the backboard. Wolf gonna get 1. He's gonna get a second. A great 50. Mogi, can he read this? Unfortunately, he cannot. That is I'll give him some grace. That was a very difficult read, and if he hit that, that would have been just such a dagger to the heart for this Dragons team.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And one thing I'm noticing is the Dragons are looking a lot better in this game, not giving Pinnacle any room to operate. They're playing well off of each other, and Pinnacle has had a few chances, but nothing of substance. Dragons really look like an entirely different team than they had in that first game.
Oh, 100%. It seems like they've come alive. And I mean, you kind of have to if you want to have a chance to win. You don't want to be in a position where you have to reverse sweep, and I think they realize that. As Mogi going to send it down once. Vulcan going to get a touch himself. Beautiful flip reset attempt. Going to carry the ball. A 3v1. Mogi making the most out of nothing. A great play from him. His teammates left him out to dry, but you know what? He was fed to the wolves, but he came back. The pack leader is Wolf. Going to send it to the wall. Bluey gets 1, gets a second, and he's going to bump off the defender. Prism off the backboard, unable to get to a teammate as Vulcan going to send it off the backboard yet again. Monster, though, going to beat any Dragon midfielder. Mogi now with a shot. It's just barely off, and, Pinnacle, they've had these breakaway chances. It seems like the third man for Dragons is just kind of committing a little too much and letting these chances kind of happen here, Jaegers.
Yeah, no, Dragons have a really aggressive play style. They're really doing their best to get out of their half, keep Pinnacle guessing, but so far they've been pretty lucky on the defensive end with a 0-0 scoreline, because, I mean, if Pinnacle shooting was on what they were in the last game, then Pinnacle would already be up by 3.
Oh, 100%. As, I feel like both teams looking a little kind of skittish, I would say. They're not really I mean, both these teams are committing to the offense, but it seems like the chances that you would expect a shot to be on target, it's just not falling for either of these teams, or a save comes out as Monster going to get one, maybe a second. Of course he gets a second. It is Monster after all. Wolf going to be up for it. A minute, 20 seconds left to go. Who can find the first goal of the game, and will it be in regulation? Monster sending it down to Bluey. Bluey with one. Vulcan got a 58 out. Bluey, great save, but wait a second.
Awkward.
Mogi with the follow-up, top right corner. It seems like a constant theme for this guy.
And yeah, no, Prism just a little bit awkward, not expecting Bluey's touch, and Mogi just gonna put that top right with a minute left. Dragons need to do something, and they need to do something quick, or else they're going to be staring down the barrel of a potential sweep.
Yeah, that is definitely not a good look, especially on stream. You want to put up at least a little bit of a fight, you know, give yourself a fighting chance, but they're going to need a score in less than a minute to make overtime potentially happen here. But Mogi off the backboard, what is the Dragons defense doing? Wolf going to get a free goal.
And yeah, no, I mean that last goal really opened up the floodgates for Pinnacle. Like, took 4 minutes to score that first one, and the second one came 10 seconds later. So I'm interested to see how the rest of this game plays out.
Yeah, it seems like the Dragons, they looked pretty good at the start, but then they kind of fizzled out as soon as Pinnacle got those chances and executed it. It seems as though it's been a completely different story, as Prism going to get one. Unfortunately, 50'd out by Monster. Monster's up with it, but Bluey going to beat him out. Vulcan now. The full take a boost, gets 50'd out by Mogi. Mogi with almost the dunk of his life, but he puts it in regardless. This dude might be LeBron.
And yeah, no, Mogi really popping off from Pinnacle. Nice little 50, and just sticks around. Expected that ball to come by his way and put his team up by 3.
I mean, absolute performance from Mogi and Wolf as well. I mean, Monster is that 2K player. He is a player that's expected to do well, but if you don't need to play out of your mind, I mean, I think that's good. I mean, it's load management, right? You see it a lot with some of these teams who have really good players, but also really good teammates. It's less than 10 seconds to go. Virtually impossible for the Dragons to win this one. Pinnacle gonna be one game away from a perfect sweep. And if Wolf and Mogi keep performing like this, I mean, Monster doesn't really have to do a thing. He did his thing in game 1. He got that hat trick, and then he's like, you know what, you guys got this one. And Wolf and Mogi just looked phenomenal in that game number 2. I don't know. I thought there would be a little bit more of a fight from the Dragons, but it's just mistake after mistake that was costing them in that one, Jaegers.
You know, Gallium, I really think the Dragons are going to come back and win this next game. Interesting thing you said about like 2K players like popping off. If like a team is full of good players, they don't necessarily no individual needs to necessarily carry the load. And even though their individual stats don't necessarily look great, the team is still popping off in all cylinders.
Yeah, it's very nice. I mean, especially if you're in that, okay, I have to carry the team mindset. It's going to be a little tiring after a while, you know, constantly having to be on your A game. It's nice to kind of take a step back and let your teammates, you know, be successful as well. It's just nice to know that even if you are just a really good player, if you had good teammates, I mean, you're continuing to win. I mean, why change what you're doing? I feel like Pinnacle is doing everything right, and shutting out the Dragons in that last game. Can it be a similar story here, or will the Dragons finally wake up from their 1,000-year slumber here, Jaegers?
Yeah, no, it was very interesting because we had 2 very different games the past 2 games. The first one, it was scoring good start right away, and the second one, it took a while to get going for the Pinnacle. We still really haven't seen the Dragons going, but Wolf with a nice double there.
That is ridiculous. Monster down to Wolf. Wolf's gonna say, how do you do? And absolutely smash that one into the back of the net, doing it all himself. And I just feel like Pinnacle just exudes that confidence. And I feel like besides that Prism shot in game 1 from the Dragons, you haven't really seen that, as Bluey, it's on top of his car. And of course he's gonna score that one with help from his teammate.
And welcome to the show, Bluey. Not much boost to his name, but you know, nice little flick past Mogi. And I mean, is this going to be a rehash of game 1, or are the Dragons finally woken up?
I mean, it seems like there's, something's happening, but Mogi with the ball, gonna get it
Oh,
over one
my.
and almost getting another insane goal. Wolf gonna attempt to get a shot, but he's unsuccessful. Vulcan down the pitch. Bluey gets one. Unfortunately, not able to double that one. Wolf gonna beat out Vulcan for that ball. Prism
Oh,
gonna
no.
miss, and Bluey has to race back,
Oh,
and he gets
no
bumped.
way.
It's in his net, and it's mistakes like that that are costing the Dragons right now.
And the Dragons are in shambles. Just an unfortunate miss by Prism. And a nice bump by the Pinnacle player. And Mogi was just there to put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, apparently the Pinnacle players thought he saved that. It kind of looked like he did on my screen. W Rocket League.
W Rocket League.
Yeah, the game does what it wants for sure. But it's just nice to see that kind of sportsmanship from both these teams. I feel like a lot of Titan players are just all really good friends. Like you see a lot of competition in some of these other leagues, but the Titan players they all know each other. Probably from this league or other leagues, very familiar with each other. And, it's just nice to see that sportsmanship as we have Bluey up with it. He has only a little bit more boost. A nice flip reset. Monster gonna have to get there real quick. Vulcan down to Prism. Mogi gonna miss that touch. He gets it across though. Monster with almost a full tank of boost cannot get the clear that he wants, but the ball still popped up. A 3-on-0.
Oh,
Monster.
No. Oh, I thought
he
he
almost
missed that
missed.
for a second. I thought he missed that for a second. But yeah, no, like as far as Titan goes, like the higher up you go, like the more you see people you know. And Titan, that's like the best of the best. So you queue into friends or acquaintances every so often, more often than any other. So
Yeah.
most of these players know each other.
Oh, of course, and that's the beauty of Titan League. We're seeing an absolute display of some insane mechanics. I have to say, this is my first Titan game that I've casted this season, and so far, this has probably been my favorite game in terms of like raw mechanics. Just absolute insane shot after absolute insane shot coming out from both of these teams. It just seems like there's a level of consistency that's not there for some of the other teams in Titan, but this could be a fluke. It could be the power of the stream that's really given them the edge, but it seems as though Pinnacle with those roster moves faring just fine as Vulcan going to send it off the backboard. Monster going to take his time, attempt to get it past one, but Bluey says heck no, and he fills up the net with an aquarium.
And yeah, no, it's just Wolf was a little awkward. He likes to keep it 100, but he had about 12 boosts in the tank and not enough to get back to it. And Bluey just a nice shot top left corner.
Yeah, that's a very good challenge coming out from Bluey. It seems like he's been the guy to kind of try to rally his team. He has already in this game 2 goals on 3 shots. He's shooting really well. He has a save to his name as well. So he's trying to ignite this offense, but he's going to have to get his friend Vulcan involved in it a little bit. Prism's doing all he can, but it seems as though Vulcan and Bluey have to start popping off together. But as I say that, Prism, he's getting into the mix.
Yeah, just a nice open net by Prism, just taking the shots. I hear that's the hardest shot in the game, but Prism hit that with class, and this is the first sign of life we've had from the Dragons in this game 3. If they win this game, it's still a reverse sweep. It would be hard, but they're finally showing up, and a nice save there by Wolf.
Yeah, honestly though, I feel like, oh my goodness, almost an insane shot coming out there. But both teams have just been playing really, really well in this game 3. So it's basically whoever can keep this consistency up as, oh my goodness, Vulcan with an insane save. Another insane save. Wolf gets it over another monster. Gonna put it in the back of the net. That's ridiculous.
Oh, just a crazy... I'm speechless, Gallion. That was kind of nuts. Vulcan, Titan, you have the craziest shots, but then you have shots that just should not be happening. I feel like there's no other way to describe this game.
Feels like some of the shots are being a little glitchy, but regardless, an insane pass coming out from Wolf and Monster, an insane finish, and it was looking real close there for a second, but unfortunately for the Dragons, that one sneaks into the back of the net. Bluey Gonna get one. Prism cannot find the touch, but we have a little under a minute and 30 seconds left in this game. Do you think the Dragons can make a little bit of a comeback here, Jaegers?
I mean, so far in this game 3, they've met each challenge, and I definitely think they can. I mean, it's just you just got to worry about the clock. You know, that's the Dragons' worst enemy right now.
Yeah. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the clock myself. You know, I feel like it stresses me out too much, man. I mean, yeah, especially like, you know, in real life when you have to wake up for an important event, and in Rocket League, too stressful there, Jaegers.
Dude, the clock and the alarm. The alarm, I'd say, is worse. Yeah.
I get PTSD absolutely. Whenever I hear that like default alarm. You know what I'm talking about? On like
the
me
iPhone.
Too. As an own goal, maybe incoming. Mogi, a nice save. Little over 30 seconds left. Vulcan, a nice 50 with Mogi. But Pinnacle up by 1. They just need to sit back and relax and play some good defense. Good wait, a demo coming out, but it doesn't matter if no one's on the ball. Mogi up with it, but Vulcan getting a nice beat, but he passes out to Monster, who takes a shot. Prism with an insane save. A pass out to Wolf from Monster. Now Vulcan with no boost. 10 seconds left. Prism gonna get a touch. Bluey gonna try to get a touch himself. Both of them miss. Monster gonna send it to the side. Wolf gonna continue it. An insane pinch. And now the ball is floating. 1 second left. The game is still not over. Bluey gets one. He's gonna carry it up the wall. He has no boost, but does he have the power of friendship? A nice musty. Both Vulcan and Prism are up for this. Wolf gonna try to send it down, and he continues it, but this one. Oh, wait, Mogi gonna keep it up, but wait, are Pinnacle gonna score here? The ball is still alive. Vulcan gonna send it down. Neither team wants this game to end just yet. Prism gets one. Wolf gonna try to send it downfield, and he's successful. Mogi with the redirect, and why not one more? Why not?
Mogi with a nice shot at the end. I feel like the ball was in the air for at least 30 seconds, Scallon.
Yeah, that was an insane pop-up. I mean, just crazy passes coming out from this Pinnacle squad, and I gotta say that game, or that series, was an absolute wash from this Pinnacle squad. It was not close. I mean, Pinnacle just looked out of their minds. I mean, even when you thought they were down and out, they just came back and showed, you know, we are the better team. We're going to act like it. We're going to play like it. And now they get their first win of the season. That's a big win, especially coming at this time of the season. You don't want to continue losing games. You want to build that confidence and build that record up eventually. So, I mean, Pinnacle, they looked great. Dragons, a little bit of some stuff to work on. As you said, Jaegers, you know, according to the pattern, we're going based off of the win on Wednesday. So they'll probably be 3 and 3. Sorry. But as for that, I mean, that's pretty much it. Titan League is always so much fun to commentate, but I mean, we're going down to Jaegers and I's league, Prospect League, up next. So you don't want to miss that. Jaegers, thank you again for casting with me, my brother. You and I will be playing actually later tonight, and I'm excited to get some games in with you.
Always a pleasure, man. I'll see you later tonight.
All right, see you later, sir. But you guys, please stick around, because this next matchup, you're not going to want to miss it. A new and revamped Faded roster is going to take on a new and revamped Velocity roster. So Prospect League action, it's going to be a banger, and you're not going to want to miss it. Peace out, guys.
Later.
They don't know how we do it. They'll never get it anyway. Conquering the impossible. All with a smile on our face. We work hard, we play harder, we push it to the limit, going farther and farther. We work hard, we play harder, we push it to the limit, going farther and farther. Grind on I think I'm falling asleep at the wheel. I feel like nothing is real. I think I'm falling asleep at the wheel tonight. If time flies, that explains why I feel so jet-lagged all the time. On autopilot in my mind. For life. It's you up in the rear view, and I cruise down memory avenue. And it's you up in the rear view, and it's you. I think I'm falling asleep at the wheel. I feel like nothing is real. I think I'm falling asleep at the wheel tonight. I think I'm falling asleep at the wheel. I feel like nothing is real. I think I'm falling asleep at the wheel tonight. That's no poetic way to say. As my little markers fade away, an exit feels just like my saving grace. And it's you up in the rear view, and I cruise down memory avenue. And it's you up in the rear view, and it's you. I think I'm falling asleep at the wheel. I feel like nothing is real. I think I'm falling asleep at the wheel tonight. I think I'm falling asleep at the wheel. I feel like nothing is real. I think I'm falling asleep at the wheel tonight. I think I'm falling asleep at the wheel. I feel like nothing is real. I think I'm falling asleep at the wheel tonight. I think I'm falling asleep at the wheel. I feel like nothing is real. I think I'm falling asleep at the wheel tonight. Devil's wearing Prada cause he probably goes over to your place and takes your old clothes. She likes her lines on counters and a bedpost. She clips her waist to walk among the shadows. They say to her, falling from heaven. Of all the deadly sins, she's lucky seven. They say to her, falling from heaven. And tell me, did it hurt? Cause the day that brought me you, she broke her hair clean and tore, and turned the pieces into whores. Don't say that I didn't warn you. Don't say that I didn't warn you. She'll break it like she was
Literally, he puts it in. 0 seconds remaining. He seems to be playing hard for it. Oh my goodness, Rudy, what is this?
Doesn't get the touch he's looking for. Kato, got the giant. Oh, he gets the flick and he gets it through. He's gonna give a shot. He's gonna put it in. Back to back.
On the backward, can he find the touch? He's gonna put the shot on the net.
High off the backboard here. Opportunity. Here comes the shot.
Is this serious? No, hold on. Surely this can't. Oh my
Let's
lord!
go with the shot. It's gonna go in.
Oh, open play on the goal line. He did not win nearly over. Sweep. It comes through. The Venom, the improbable, the impossible, the 4-time champions.
And welcome back to the Nemesis Gaming League, where the grind continues. And I am joined this time with Jaegers. It's no longer Gallium. I know, so sad. But we're coming back with a great matchup in the Prospect League in the Pacific Division between Velocity and Faded. Both these teams on the bottom half of their division, but are looking to make a comeback, and should be a good one. How are you doing today, Jaegers?
I'm doing fantastic, Ventus. And you know what? Being in the bottom half, that just means there's room for improvement. And that's what we're going to see here, Ventus. One of these teams improve.
Yeah, definitely, and we saw a transaction earlier, I believe this weekend, where Zio was picked up for Faded. You know, kind of hoping that they can regroup and come back from their 1-5 start to make a play-in or playoff spot, and he's probably going to be the big player to watch for this match, because obviously Velocity, Cognition, KSU Wildcats, and Jax all have played together before. Their roster not really changing. They did drop Grebsy, so they only have 3 players on their roster currently, but those 3 gonna already the main force for Velocity. But Faded having a switch up in the roster, how do you think that this is going to change the outlook of the game?
Well, you know, Ventus, it's funny you say that because Zio debut, it's more of a welcome back. He is Mr. Glaze. I believe his last match was, I want to say, Season 7 Grand Finals playing for Origin, and the team they lost to, Velocity. So it's going to be a little payback for Mr. Glaze, a.k.a. Zio. Very mechanical player. And I'm very excited to see if any of the rest is still there or if he's going to pop off. And 2 very good teams that are way better than their records. So it's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah, definitely, and hopefully we can get these people joined up soon. I don't. Is there anything happening that they're not joined up yet? I don't know.
I
But
think we could just go if you want to.
are we? All right, let's see. Join up. I'm just gonna text that. See what happens. You know, a little scuffed on my end, but
Just let them know.
it
Let
looks
them
like
know.
Chunklight is actually playing in place of Jax for the side of Velocity, so should be interesting here. But we are kicking off game number 1. Looks like Velocity on the orange. Well, I guess it's different colors for you, but it'd be a good 50 from Chunklight. Street Soul gonna take this, pop it off his own corner. KSU Wildcat's gonna be there, puts a shot on net, and that one's gonna be a quick early goal for the side of Velocity.
Yeah, nice little shot by KSU Wildcats. He was out the first 4 games, and you know he's picking up where he left off. Nice little shot on goal, and Faded not quite ready for it.
Yeah, and you talked about him missing 4 games so far this season. Definitely could mean that Velocity is a bit better than their current record shows. They are sitting in the 3-3, but you know, for those games, KSU Wildcat not being there definitely could hurt the side of Velocity. We know him as a great player and already showing out so far in this game number 1. Looks like Forrest gonna try to get us past center. Zio gonna take this one, gonna look for a pass, but cut off by Cognition. Looks like Chunklight looking for a redirect, gets 50'd by Street Soul. A great save on the back end. Looks like KSU Wildcat gets a beat, but demoed for his efforts. Forrest gonna keep it in the corner. Cognition already there. Cognition trying to get a pass out mid. A shot comes out by Chunklight, and a little miscommunication between Faded members is gonna leave the net wide open for Chunklight to score.
Yeah, nice little pass by Cog, pass to defense, and Street Soul not quite able to find the touch he wanted nor thought he deserved, and now Velocity is going to be up by 2.
Yeah, and Velocity definitely showing out early, as you know, we haven't seen too much of this Cognition Wildcats duo this season with him being out, but I am sure that they will be able to pick up the pace and we'll see a lot more passes. Zio looking for a shot, gonna be off crossbar. Very close shot. A miss comes out. Forrest trying to put the shot on net, not gonna be able to do so. A bump comes out for the side of Faded, but gonna be cleared away. Chunklight up for another redirect, but Zio gonna be up quick for that one. Trying to pass it out mid. Street Soul's there, but 50'd away by Wildcat. Forrest looking to play it to the backboard. Maybe a double touch. Gonna force a miss from Cognition, playing the 50 there, and looks like we're gonna be about 2 minutes into this game. Another shot. Maybe a shot from Chunklight. A 50 comes out again by Forrest. Another close play and another counterattack option maybe for the side of Faded, but looks like so far Faded put a nice shot on net there, but mostly just playing defense so far in this game number 1.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really hard to get your offense started whenever you're being pressured in your own back half. And, Faded, every time they start to get out of their half, Velocity just bangs it back toward putting it Faded back on defense. So, not a lot of life in terms of Faded side. Nice attempt there by Street Soul, not able to find the touch. And now back on Faded's half again.
Yeah, and I think Velocity have just been playing such great offense because they've been able to leave Chunklight up in the midfield almost and look for these redirects and these bump plays that has allowed Velocity to have extended pressure in the Faded half and really has made it difficult for them to generate any offense because there's always that threat of a counterattack. And we saw right there Chunklight getting a bump on net, but not anything coming out of that one. Chunklight gonna take a 50 here, gets a pop, a 50 on Forrest. Zio looking to pick this one up, tries to play to the back wall, a miss out.
Ooh.
Great 50 by Cognition, almost a goal. Like Forrest gets a beat on Wildcat, looking for another touch, not gonna be able to do so. Chunklight gonna get this one into the corner, gets another 50 on Zio. Wildcat's there, Wildcat 1v1 opportunity, beats Street Soul, but unfortunately another member from Faded is already back. Good bump by Force Bump there, gets a beat on Cognition as well. Chunklight holding that midfield down, gets a nice touch into the corner. He's gonna play this one again, looking for a third beat, gets a pop to the backboard. KSU Wildcats up with Forrest, but Forrest gonna get the beat onto that one. Cognition pops it, trying to leave it for Chunklight. Chunklight electing not to go for that one. And these C words are really tripping me up so far in game number 1, but not too bad. As a nice shot comes out by Forrest, a redirect by Chunklight, forcing Zio to back off, respecting the touch. Wildcat gonna try to get a touch. Street Soul gets that one onto the sidewall. Zio gonna have to race back for this one. A team bump comes out, leaving a potential play for Wildcat, but not gonna be anything so far. And it's been much more even ever since, we started talking about how much pressure Velocity has had. They still have had pressure, but it hasn't really equated to any shots or goals. And so at least Faded, showing some resilience here at the end of game number 1.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks a little bit more even, but it almost feels like Faded was more able to stop the bleeding as opposed to like starting counterattacks of their own. So at this point, they're kind of just surviving, for lack of a better word. KSU Wildcats almost gets a goal there, but not quite able to put it on target.
Yeah, definitely just seem to be stopping the bleeding. I mean, Faded only have 3 shots, 2 Velocities. I believe that is 9, so definitely a big discrepancy there in overall pressure, and Velocity able to generate a lot of shots. It seems like this game number 1 is going to wind down. Faded might get a one-mate goal for the road in the last couple seconds. A shot off the backboard, not going to do so, and it looks like the ball is going to hit the ground to give Velocity a very convincing game number 1 victory.
Yeah, no, KSU called the dynamic duo and Chunklight putting in work as well. Faded, they need to find a way to get out of their half. Only 3 shots to their name. They just don't seem like they're clicking.
Yeah, it seems like they're very much 3 individual players instead of one cohesive unit. And it's kind of shown because they haven't been able to string any passes together. And it's very likely due to that Zio being a new member. And I'm not sure if Street Soul's the sub, but Poseidon isn't here today either. I'm not sure if that's their main roster, but some more dissonance in their communication and their normal starting lineup can be that reason that they just haven't figured it out yet. So I'm hoping that they're going to be able to bounce back as we kick off game number 2. Zio going to look for an air dribble, looks for a pass middle. Street Soul going for a bump. Forrest going to get this one, but Wildcat gets a beat. Street Soul already out, bringing in the pressure early. Cognition trying to tap to the wall, but Street Soul's already there. A shot coming out from Zio. Not going to be on target, but he's still staying in the play. Gets a 50 on Cognition. Forrest, a pass
nice
out made to
pass.
Street Soul just not able to get the shot, but he gets the bump instead. And Chunk Light not going to be able to get there in time. And Street Soul, a great pass and a great shot by Forrest to give Faded the lead.
And Street Soul just absolutely bullying Chunk Light, not able to make it back in time. And all Force Bump really needed to do was just not miss. And, you know, he did well in that. Faded take their first goal of the series, followed closely by their second as they're starting to pop off here.
Yeah, and it's a great kickoff. It looks like Chunk Light maybe pushing a little bit too hard as that cheating second man there, and unable to read the 50 as, you know, that 50-50 in the middle is so, you know, inconsistent. It can go so many different ways, and even sometimes maybe a bit laggy on the 50, so a little bit too preemptive of his commit to the midfield touch. But another bump comes out from the side of Street Soul, and Street Soul has been, you know, racking up the bumps so far in this game number 2, and kind of been a great force.
No.
Almost
What a save!
off its own post, and it looks like Zio gonna have a counter attack. Looking for a ground pinch, not gonna be able to get that as Cognition's gonna cut that one off. Forrest gets a 50 on KSU Wildcat, gonna go into the corner. Chunk gonna be first to this one, gonna try to get another 50. Zio holding it down, keeping the possession, gets a 50 on Cognition, but it's back in the blue half. This is very reminiscent of the beginning of number 1, where Velocity
All of them were there.
They are going to do so. Yeah, a very interesting triple commit there.
Yeah, no, it was a triple commit and only one touched the ball. Nice little shot by KSU Wildcats, but you know that kind of reminds me of the Pineapples defense. I believe back in the gap. I know there's a picture in grand finals of 3 players on the back wall. None of them were able to save the shot though.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate for the side of Faded. Velocity do get 1 goal back, but it looks like Street Soul trying to regain that 2-goal lead, but gonna be saved away. Zio looking to solo play this one. He's gonna take it up for a double tap. Not gonna do so. Leaves it for Forrest. Forrest puts a shot on net. Gonna be saved away by Wildcat. Street Demon keeping it in the corner, looking for another touch past 1. Cognition, unfortunate touch. A team bump comes out. Forrest not able to get the shot though, and Velocity's gonna hang on.
Yeah, no, Velocity almost getting away with one there, and Street Soul pops it up for his teammate, but his teammate not able to find it. I do see Zio is lagging just a little bit. His ping looks like it resolved itself, but regardless, KSU Wildcats gonna put a nice shot on target, tying up this game.
And it's a great shot, a great pass by Cognition, and Wildcats just gonna sneak it in between Zio and I believe that was Forrest, but you know. But anyways, a great shot by Velocity to tie up the game, and even with how Faded have started out in game number 2, it looks like Velocity gonna claw their way back in and make it a much closer game. It's like Zio gonna try to take this one back, gets a pop past 1, but Wildcat already there. Team bump comes out. Street Soul gonna take this one up the wall, gets a beat on 1, looking for an air dribble, looking for a read off the corner. It's gonna bounce towards the middle. Chunk gonna put that one away. Forrest looking to fake it, leave it for Zio. Zio trying to get another touch. Cognition in case you double commit. Forrest tries to get a 50, but it's actually gonna get 50 by Cognition. Cognition puts another one off the back wall. Chunk Light gonna have to catch this one. Slow the play down. Not gonna be able to get that touch. Zio spinning it up, puts a great touch to the back wall. Street Soul looking for a pass out. Zio's gonna be here. Zio, great beat on Cognition, but not able to get the ball on target. Chunk Light with an unfortunate miss there, but Wildcat able to, you know, cover for that mistake, and he's actually gonna be able to hold this possession. Gets a 50 on Street Soul, and now it's a threatening touch into the Faded half, but a great clear away by Forrest to Street Soul, and Forrest actually gonna put a shot on net. A great save by Wildcat, and that's an amazing save by Velocity to keep them ahead. And Chunk Light gonna clear this one away. Chunk Light gonna look for get another touch. Gets a beat on Forrest. 0 boost though. Has to give the possession away to Zio. Zio gets a misflip though on his wall dash. Cognition gets a 50 across. Looks like Zio's going to be first to this ball. Zio with an unfortunate miss, but luckily Forrest is already there. Or it goes right to Zio on the 50. Street Soul with a shot on net. And it's going to
nice
be around
shot.
Cognition to give Faded the lead 3-2.
And yeah, no, a nice pass by Zio. A nice shot by Street. Perfect placement right behind Cog. Cog inched up too much and is going to pay as a result.
Yeah, and it's a great sequence of events for Faded, being able to regain the lead after giving 2 goals up to allow the game to be tied. It looks like Zio going to take this one back. Gets a bump, leaves the ball for Forrest. Forrest going to be up again, gets a beat, but it's going to go to KSU Wildcat. He's going to bang it down into the blue corner. Looks like Street Soul going to get a toucher on KSU Wildcat. The 50 comes out towards the corner again. Chunklight looking for another touch or a demo. KSU Wildcat gets a beat on one, looking for a shot, gets a 50 on Zio, but unfortunately a great demo on the side of Street Soul. It relieves a lot of that pressure and makes it so there's no player in that midfield, and Street Soul has been a real nuisance to this Velocity squad in game 2.
No, he really has. I mean, Velocity really cannot breathe easy as long as Street Soul's on the pitch. And with 20 seconds left, I mean, this is looking like a completely different Faded team than we saw in that first game. I mean, maybe it's stream nerves, maybe it's just overall general composure, but Faded really came out swinging.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems like they're starting to be able to learn how each other play and are acting more as a unit, as we see Street Soul having 2 assists and Zio having an assist of his own. So all 3 of their goals are assisted with one other player of the Faded squad. And a great showing from Faded and a good bounce back win.
Yeah, no, I mean, just very good passing plays, and you know your team is synergizing whenever each of your goals is assisted. So there's definitely that for Faded. And I know some teams, like after they lose a close game, they want to take a second to ready up, but both these teams readied up right away, which is always interesting. Because I mean,
Yeah,
that tells me like Velocity feels like they didn't necessarily do anything wrong. They just need to play their A game.
yeah, definitely. And KSU Wildcat that game had an outstanding game, 2 goals and I believe 3 saves or more. I couldn't remember exactly how many saves, but I mean he had 550 points that game. And both of those goals were also assisted by another member of Velocity, and so they were also showing out those passing plays and able to generate those scoring opportunities. But looks like Faded holds on for game number 2 as we start to get into game number 3. Looks like Street Soul gonna try to clear this one out. Cognition's gonna take this one back. Maybe a bump coming up by Street Soul, likes to fake it. Cognition low on the back wall, very awkward. Zio gonna pick this ball up in the midfield. Cognition misses the boom touch out. Forrest gets a shot on net, and the forced bump by Zio is gonna force the member of Velocity back into the net and unable to make the save.
And Cog had the right idea, not the right execution. And force bump is going to make him pay, putting the shot perfect placement, top right and in.
Yeah, and I was expecting to see Street Soul being the one going for the demo on the last member in net, but that one was Zio there as he was able to dish that one out to Forrest, and a great opening goal for Faded. Another one of those goals where they're just beating out the members of Velocity and really opening up those scoring opportunities. It's like Cognition gonna try to take this ball, gets a good pinch out, but it's gonna go right to Zio in the corner. Zio gonna get it past one, looking to get another touch, gets a 50 on Chunk. Going to be right towards Forrest. Forrest puts a ball to the back wall. Great touch away by a Wildcat. Double commit comes out on the side of Faded, but it's going to go right to the midfield for Zio, and a bump comes out on the side of Faded. And I believe that was Street Soul gets the bump on the last defender of Velocity, and it's going to lead to another goal.
And one thing I've noticed from Faded is Zio is playing an extremely deep third man. And Faded, both Forrest and Street Soul are just kind of running... just being super aggressive, which is catching the Velocity defense off guard and just allowing Zio to just put perfect shots on target.
Yeah, definitely. And they seem to have found their play style. We didn't see many demos or many bump attempts in game number 1, but we did see it more in game number 2, and we're seeing it here plentifully in game number 3. And it's great to see that Faded starting to find their way. And it looks like Velocity's going to have to step up their game as a
Oh,
redirect
nice
comes
shot.
out by Street Soul. A great save by Wildcat. And Wildcat, with 4 saves already this game, has been that solid rock on defense, Jaegers.
Yeah, no, I mean, KSU Wildcats really putting in work. And I mean, part of it is he shouldn't have to put in work, but Faded is popping off on offense. They have 8 shots to their name, and we're not even halfway through.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very insane shot differential right now, but a great save by Forrest. Maybe a counterattack angle with a great pass to Street Soul. Street Soul puts it on target, but it's going to be cleared away by Wildcat. And Wildcat trying to generate his own, counterattack play, but going to be a great save by Zio. Chunklight looking to catch this ball. Not a great touch in the midfield. It's going to be a double commit, it looks like, from Faded. Going to be great clear by Wildcat. Looks like Forrest trying to keep it in the corner. Gonna pass out to Zio, who gives it back to Forrest. Forrest gonna clear that one away. But unfortunately, Chunklight already back. Gonna take the 50 there. Gets a good fake. He's gonna take this ball up. Looking to get another touch. Gonna be a 50 on Zio.
Oh.
He actually plays
Oh, what?
around Zio. And
Wait.
members of Faded just kind of turned away. And Velocity gets a goal back.
How that's so odd. It just looked like Faded was just not interested in defending that goal. And you know what? Chunklight said, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah, and it looks like Zio was trying to pre-jump the high touch, and Forrest had so much faith, and Street Soul both had so much faith in Zio as that, challenger, that they elected to just play away and fully expected him to get a 50 or a touch on that ball. So we saw Street Soul go into the corner for boost, and Forrest Bump was going to cheat up, but that beat just left the net wide open due to that exertion of their rotations on the side of Faded, just expecting their player to full-heartedly get the beat and not even playing the possibility that he could get beat. Definitely is going to be a crazy reason they're going to give up a goal. Looks like a great clear away from KSU Wildcats. A shot on target from Forrest. And Wildcats going to take this one again. And avoid one. Gets the boost in the midfield. Street Soul going to cut that one off, but it goes right to Chunklight. Chunklight gets a flick over one. Double commit comes out on the side of Faded, but going to be cleared away into the Velocity half. It looks like we have a minute remaining in game number 3, and it's very neck and neck currently. As
good
a nice shot by
shot.
Wildcat, gonna doomsday dish that one in and tie the scoring 2-2.
Yeah, Ventus almost said good pass, but no one else was there for a Velocity. KSU's just going to take it in himself.
Yeah, it looked like Chunklight had pushed up so far going for a bump that he was no longer a pass option for that Velocity squad and Wildcat. So Wildcat obviously having to elect to take it for himself. And another shot by Cognition, almost going to be a goal there, but going to be saved away by Forrest. And Forrest, zero boost, just pops it up to the midfield. Street Soul going to be first to this one. Puts a great shot on net.
shot.
And KSU Wildcat not able to get the touch. And he's been so good on defense this game and so this series, so very interesting to see him miss this one.
Yeah, I know. I mean, just KSU just inched forward just a little bit too much. And once again, with the perfect placement, back post, Velocity just not expecting it.
Yeah, and it's going to give them another lead in game number 3. The clock now dwindling down to 30 seconds. Going to be hard for Velocity to take this one back, but Street Soul, not a great touch, but Forrest able to fake that one. Gonna be a shot for Cognition. Cognition shoots it right at Zio, and Zio gonna be able to clear that one away, and that's one that you would love to have back, Jaegers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just you and the defender. It's like sometimes you overthink it just a little too much, and it looks like that's what happened there. Like they couldn't decide whether to go left or right and just elected for dead center.
Yeah, and that might be the reason that Faded are going to take this game number 3. I mean, the ball's not down yet. Street Soul gonna fake this one, and Faded will take game number 3 and go up 2-1 in the series. And that is a devastating mistake there on the side of Velocity. And maybe we can say great play by Zio, just forcing the touch early and covering as much of net as possible and able to get that save and clear away. But a great showing once again from Faded. and another really close game coming out in so far in this series.
Yeah, I mean, it was a close game, Ventus, but looking at the stats, I mean, Faded outshot Velocity 11-8. And I mean, shots wise, it is a pretty close game. But I mean, Faded's attacks were just so much more dangerous than Velocity's in this last one.
Yeah, definitely agree. The one thing I do want to point out though is we were talking about 2 minutes into this game, or that game number 3. Faded actually had 8 shots up to that point, so they're only able to generate 3 more additional shots in the following 3 minutes, whereas Velocity was able to come back and shoot. I believe it was 5 more times. So a little bit more even in that second half of game number 3. Pressure and shot wise coming out on the side of Velocity, but gonna be an interesting pinch there. Cognition gonna have to rush back. Gonna be popped up high. Zio gonna touch this one in the corner, looking for a double touch. Gonna put it back into the corner though. Forrest looking for a 50 out middle. Wildcat gonna play that one away, but it's right to Zio. Zio gets a pop, but Chunklight's gonna be there. This one might drop down by Wildcat. Gonna be a great pass, but not able to have a shot come out on the side of Velocity. A pinch comes out. It's actually gonna be very awkward for Cognition. Cognition gets a great clear away. Zio gonna be first to this ball. Tries to keep possession, but Wildcat gonna be there. Streetzel up with Chunklight, gets a 50 on Chunklight. Might have liked to keep going for this. Forrest gonna get a 50 on Cognition. Cognition a great clear out, but once again right to the Faded player, and Faded and Zio gonna take this one. Pop it to Street Soul. Street Soul gonna be first to this ball. A pop towards the midfield. A shot coming out. Is that gonna be crossbar? Yes, it is. But Forrest gonna have a follow-up shot. Cognition, a great save to relieve the pressure, and it's very reminiscent of the beginning of game number 3 Jaegers with a lot of Faded pressure.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what it's looking like so far. I mean, the first minute, there was no shots, and all of a sudden, Faded had 4 back to back to back to back, and so far Velocity has held up. Let's see if they continue to do so.
Yeah, they definitely have held up, but they have not generated a single shot yet, just electing to play in their half, just holding off the Faded pressure. Is a shot off the crossbar there by Forrest, and Zio gonna look to pass this one midfield. Not gonna get a great touch. Streetsoul out on that one, but not able to find that touch. Forrest gonna have to put this one to the corner. Zio gonna elect to leave it, and Cognition not able to get a touch either. Chunklight puts a shot on. A little jumbled up there in the corner, but Forrest putting this one out.
Oh,
And a great 50, almost in, just off the post and out. That ball crazily went out, and Forrest gonna get a shot. Maybe Zio's gonna be able to get back to this one, and that one is going to go in, finally breaking the stalemate, and Faded go up 1-0.
and I mean, Velocity held strong for the most part. They did extremely well with 5 saves, but Ventus, the problem is they have 5 saves this early on in the game, and Faded back to 8. And I mean, their offense just looks unrelenting.
That definitely does look that way, with already 8 shots in the first half of this game. Very reminiscent of game number 3, where they had 8 shots in the first 2 minutes. And a great pop by Streetzel, looking for a 50 on Cognition. Cognition has to rush back. A pop midfield from Forrest, not going to be picked up. It looks like Zio trying to get a touch, but not going to be able to do so. Forrest, a great demo in the midfield, but going to be faked out by Chunklight. Streetzel having to get to that one. Streetzel getting the boost, looking for demos. Looks like a 1v2. A bump comes out. Gonna be great save by Wildcat. Zio there though, and gonna be able to put that one home for a 2-0 lead.
And yeah, no, there Zio is again with the third man play, just playing cleanup crew, really loving that top right corner shot, and Faded gonna double their lead.
Yeah, and that is a great shot. Perfect top right from Zio with a bunch of power. It looks like Forrest gonna maybe get a slow roller into the net of Velocity. Looks like maybe a misrotation or a mistouch there by Chunklight. Wildcat looks like he's trying to fake it and get a 50. But Forrest not going to be one to fall for that, and going to be able to put that one home for Faded 3-0 lead. And that is going to be very hard to come back from if you're Velocity.
Especially in game number 4, where next game you lose and you're done for the day. It's hard to come back. You really want to get the first goal in games that potentially end the series, and you know, Faded just happened to get the first three.
Yeah, and I mean, Faded have looked really good. I mean, if you take off that game number one, almost a shot coming out from Street Soul, but gonna be saved away by Cognition. But if you take away that game number one, Faded has been so dominant, and Velocity has just kind of held on. A miss here though might allow the gates to open up a little bit for Velocity, but a great clear by Forrest takes that one away, and it looks like Faded being very confident with some pre-jump double commits on their side. And they seem, with the clock winding down to 1 minute, they think that they have this game in the bag. But hopefully, Velocity have something to say about that one. As Cognition trying to get this one in the midfield, gonna catch it, looking to get a flick past one, but Zio's already there. Chunklight tries to get a pop mid, tries to go for another one, but Street Soul already pre-jumped on that one, just playing the high touch, forcing them to get a 50. KSU Wildcat getting a pop out to the midfield. Cognition's there, but a great touch by Forrest and a great 50. Street Soul going to get demoed there. Might allow some more pressure to be built on the side of Faded. Wildcat gets a good 50, but unfortunately nobody's there on the side of Velocity, and that one's going to be cleared away. Chunklight trying to get a pass back into the midfield. Wildcat to Chunklight again. Cognition able to pick this one up in the midfield, looking for a pass out mid. Wildcat's there, tries to put this one on target, but as the clock winds down, it looks like Faded is going to take this game and take the series 3-1. And after that first game, a very dominant showing from Faded.
Yeah, no, I mean, Faded just simply outplayed Velocity. You're not going to win a game, let alone a series, being outshot 13-2. Like that was the stats of the last game. Excuse me, 14-2. Faded popped off on offense. They didn't give Velocity any room to breathe, and I felt like they ran away with this one.
Yeah, definitely. And their offense was so suffocating. We saw so many demos and bumps coming out from Street Soul and Forrest, and Zio being that solid midfield defender where he's been able to pick up all the loose balls in the midfield that were just cleared away because Velocity were feeling the pressure and just needed to get the ball out of the half. And it really just allowed Faded to thrive, and it just made it so much harder to come back from if you're Velocity. And so a great showing there on the side of Faded. But that's gonna wrap us up for game number 2 of the 3 stream games today. What do you have to say, Jaegers?
Not much. I mean, that was a good series for Faded. I'm excited to see how they do the rest of the season. And as for Velocity, I mean, they're not doing bad. They could do better. But they need to pick up on offense. They need to stop being suffocated by opposing teams, and they just need to find their identity on offense, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And they got a few kinks to work out, but Wildcats and Cognition both on defense able to generate, it seems like, crazy saves. I mean, 4 or 5 saves per game, forcing Faded to just continuously pummel the net. So, I mean, props to Velocity there, and they definitely have the ingredients to be able to bounce back and still threaten a playoff position. But that's gonna do it for this game. We do have one more game at 9:30, and that's going to be Snowstorm versus, help me out here.
Oh,
uh, who are they
Snowstorm
playing?
versus let's see, Griffins.
Griffins.
Should be a banger. Should be a banger of
Yeah,
a matchup. Could see that one
that
going the distance.
that one is going to be very good. I mean, Snowstorm sitting at 5-1. Griffins currently sitting at 3-3. Another divisional matchup, and that one's going to be very important for the Challenger division there, as Griffins and Snowstorm sitting at the top number 1 and 2 seeds in their division. So that's going to be it from Jaegers and I for this game. But stay tuned for the game at 9:30 for Snowstorm versus Griffins.
See y'all on the flip.
face, out of mind like all the time. There's nothing else that feels like it's meant for me. But I've got a sweet escape. Under bright lights, illuminate my face. Under bright lights, they're shining down on us. Under bright lights, illuminate your face. Under bright lights, that's when I come alive. Baby, take me higher. I wanna see the whole sky. See the galaxy's reflection in your eyes. There's nothing that compares to this energy. I've got a sweet escape. Under bright lights, illuminate my face. Under bright lights, they're shining down on us. Under bright lights, illuminate your face. Under bright lights, that's when I come alive. That's when I come alive.
In another week, it will be not.
That's hot.
Really? He puts it in 0 seconds remaining. He seems to be fighting hard for it. Oh my goodness, Rudy, what is this?
Doesn't get the touch he's looking for. Kato, Scott, oh, he gets the flick and he gets it through. He's gonna give a shot. He's gonna put it in back to back.
On the backward, can he find the touch? He's gonna put the shot on.
Davis, high off the backboard here. Opportunity. Here comes the shot.
Is this serious? Hold on. Surely this can't. Oh my
It's
lord!
go with the shot. It's gonna go in.
Oh, Palpatine on the goal line. He did nearly over. Sweep. It comes through. The Venom, the improbable, the impossible, the 4-time champions.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Nemesis Gaming League. I'm your friend Gallium, and for the last matchup of the night, you know, last Wednesday we had an insane last matchup of the night, and I feel like this could kind of test the limits of insanity here as we have two very good Chally teams, two positive Chally teams, looking to see who can get this crucial win here. I'm Gallium. I'm joined here by Ventus, the absolute GOAT Titan player. I mean, how you doing today, Ventus?
I'm doing a lot better than that. You just gassed me up like that,
Yep.
you know. And I like what you did with the gameplay because it looks like we are going to have Insano subbing in for Snowstorm today, I believe. So I like what you did there as well. But I'm doing fantastic. Just excited for this game, and it's going to be a very good one as you were talking about because this game is going to be a big decider in who's going to win the Atlantic Division. We have Snowstorm at 5-1 currently, and Griffins at 3-3. But if Griffins were to win this game, they put Snowstorm at 5-2, and they themselves go to 4-3. And so Griffins, a much needed win for them if they're looking to clinch or take the division from Snowstorm, and obviously Snowstorm wanting to hold on to their divisional lead and are going to be able to do much more handedly if they win this game. So it should be a very good matchup.
Yeah, of course. And you touched on the Snowstorm roster, Insano subbing. And so it's going to be Dan, Insano, and Goose versus Mealy, J-Rod, and Crow. Kiwi not available today. And I get to see my boy Crow Terra. He was actually in Provisional back in Season 9, I believe. And now he's in the Challenger League. So he's made quite the jump in the past couple of seasons. Excited to see how he's going to play here as we are underway here. As Goose already off the backboard. Dan versus Mealy, GM on GM violence here, as both these GMs want a win so desperately for their squad, but J-Rod is going to put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, and that's a great play there. Just, able to capitalize off the mistouch by Insano, just banging it away. Goose not able to get back, and, it's a very straight misplay from the side of Snowstorm, and just not a great touch from Insano. And, you're looking for Insano to be one of those players that are able to come into any team and, hold their own in the Challenger League as a free agent and, kind of make a name for themselves and get a team to potentially pick them up. So, unfortunate start for Snowstorm and an unfortunate start for Insano.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're playing Nem 6-mids, you're most likely going to see Insano. He's made a name for himself. He really wants to be on a team, and I think this is kind of like a a tryout for him a little bit. So I'm excited to see how this game goes down the stretch as we have Goose sending it over to Mealy. Mealy gonna get one, hopefully get a second, but he's gonna opt for the demo instead. Can't make contact. Crow sends it down. Dan gonna collect this one. J-Rod, beautiful dunk from him. It was on target, but Goose gonna get a save. Dan down to Crotera, gets one. Can he follow it up? No, Dan gonna beat him there right in front of the net. And now Mealy down to Crotera, almost back to Mealy. That could have been an insane play, Ventus.
Yeah, and a great 1-2 there, almost a 1-2-3. You know, back to the original player. But I mean, almost an insane play to open up the scoring for them. And you know, you're looking for these passing plays as, you know, both these teams having that sub in. You know, maybe not expecting a bunch of team chemistry already coming out, but if you're able to string those types of passes together early into the series, you know, the sky's the limit with how you're going to be able to adapt to each other, as we see it almost a redirect there from Crotera.
You know, I feel like both these teams, it just comes down to, I feel like, I hate to say it, but individual performances. Crotera gonna have a beautiful goal here in his individual performance. I mean, he's looking real good so far.
Yeah, it's a great pass by J-Rod there, and you know, Crotera able to beat the last defender to that ball and put it just around them to get the open net. And you know, Griffin's gonna go up 2-0 early in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, great start for the Griffins so far. I never got to get your prediction, Ventus. You know, you mind sharing with the class who you think is gonna win this series?
Yeah, I mean, I'll do my unbiased. You know, I obviously the Griffins have already scored 2 goals and have looked very dominant, but you know, I'm gonna throw that all out the window. You know, I'm gonna believe in the Snowstorm comeback. I believe that Snowstorm Insano's gonna be able to pull off a crazy game. Dan gonna hold it down, and Goose is gonna pop off, and I think Snowstorm are gonna take it in game number 5. I think that they're going to start out a little slow. They might drop game number 1, maybe even drop game number 2, but they're going to come back and pull off the reverse sweep or potential, you know, upset. Or, well, I guess not upset, but, you know, come back here to win the series.
You know, before I saw who was playing for both teams, I thought this was going to be a close one, but with Fleury missing one of their players entirely, I mean, as good as Insano is, it's kind of hard to mesh into a team, especially mid-season, and especially if you have 2 players who play very similar play style. I'm not necessarily saying Dan and Goose play like that, but you get what I mean. I'm gonna honestly go 3-0 Griffins personally. I mean, you can't go against my boy Mealy. I mean, he's got it all figured out in the Chally League. He's a rival drop down, so I mean, he's got absolutely insane mechanics. But oh my goodness, the pass and the shot, oh, just beautiful.
And there's no bias there with Griffins being up 2-0 and, you know, scoring as you were saying that either, right, Galleon?
Yeah, no.
I mean, a great play by Mealy, just as you were talking about him. He shows off his stuff with a great pass in the midfield. And Griffins going up 3-0 in this game number 1, showing out very, you know, strong early as another goal potentially coming out. A great flick from Crotera, able to be put home by J-Rod. And, I mean, that's exactly what you want to see if you're a Griffins fan, which, you know, it seems like Gallium is. So, but, you know, Griffins really strong opening, 7 shots, and able to convert 4 of those into goals. All 4 of those goals are assisted. Griffins seem to be clicking already.
I mean, the last time I saw Crow play, he was in Provisional, so this is just absolutely shocking to me to see how much better he's gotten in this short amount of time. But, I mean, I think the unsung hero for this Griffins team is J-Rod. I mean, he's so good, especially at shooting, and he's so quick. And also, he's cracked at Clash of Clans. You know, I had to throw that in there. He's an absolute dog. So, I mean, I'm excited to see him. But on the other end of things, I'm looking for Dan to really step up. I mean, I know he's a good player, but it seems like on stream he doesn't do as well as, you know what? He got a nice save there. You know, I can't keep hating on the Danster because apparently he's gonna pop off. But I believe the last time I saw him on stream, it was I want to say Novice League Grand Finals, like season 9. I want to say, and he unfortunately lost in Game 6. So hopefully Dan can get a win this time around, but it's looking pretty unlikely as Griffins are most likely going to take this game 1. Insano going to send a shot, and oh my goodness, what a beautiful shot.
Yeah, and that one, it's gonna bridge the gap in the scoring a little bit. A good beat on Mealy and putting it perfectly top corner around J-Rod. I mean, it's a great shot from Insano, and it's a good little bit momentum booster going into game number 2. Obviously, Griffins, most likely, I guess I shouldn't say obviously, are going to take game number 1, being up 3 goals with 20 seconds left. But at least Snowstorm have generated some signs of offense, have been able to withstand some of the Griffins' pressure, and all is not for naught. All is not whatever.
Hey,
it's not.
I got it.
It's not nothing. You know what I mean? They have shown signs that they are able to keep up with the Griffins, and at least like Mealy gonna drop this one in for just a 0-second goal there, but Griffins do look very good, but I'm praying Snowstorm is able to, click somewhere and able to come back here. Obviously for my prediction, but also just because I want a good series between these two.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams obviously just totally different in how they normally operate, but Griffin's looking so good so far. Looking like another day at the office for them. But Snowstorm, I saw some signs of life towards the end. Obviously, they only had 4 shots on net, so that needs to go up a little bit. But main thing I'm worried about is Dan and Goose. They just really didn't get the beats that I think they wanted to get, because most of the time when they made contact with the ball, it was either a 50 that didn't go their way, or it was a ball that they either missed or got behind them. So I think they just need to improve their awareness of the opponent's touches and their own car. And I think honestly they could make a comeback here against this Griffin squad. I mean, they're 5-1 for a reason. They're pretty cracked, and obviously they're without Itrots and Crates, and Itrots actually was player of the week this week. So huge loss to them. So I think that'd be even more impressive that they won this, especially against this very good Griffin squad. But we're in to game number 2, taking a trip down to the train station, and I'm buying my ticket right now for the show. Is J-Rod gonna miss his touch, and Goose gonna get his first goal of the series?
Yeah, and that's a good opening for Snowstorm there. A great touch there by Insano, and it looks like a whiff coming out from J-Rod, just 0 boost, trying to get there as fast as possible. And you're taking a trip for the long way around for Snowstorm, as they're gonna finally put one home and start off game number 2 with the lead.
Wow, W reference, Ventus. Good work, good work, man. As we saw Mealy attempt to go for a musty there. That is his specialty. I've played with Mealy quite a bit, and we don't unfortunately do a lot of winning because I'm on the team. But what he is known for is mainly his musty ability, in my opinion, because I feel like it's such a slept-on mechanic, especially off the sidewall, because you can generate so much power, and it catches them off guard. What a shot from Goose. He seems to have a magnet attached to the back of the Griffin's net, as Mealy gonna send it down. Crotera gonna be there to deflect it down the pitch, and now Goose gonna have to corral it. Gets demoed for his troubles. J-Rod off the backboard, gonna get another touch, gets it past the whole defense, and Dan's just gonna do him a favor, and it's tied 1-1.
Yeah, that was such a close, almost save from Dan, just not able to get it, almost able to put it to that crossbar, but a great play by J-Rod and a solo play, which we haven't seen much from the Griffins so far in this series. I mean, we've seen a lot of their passing plays and their ability to string passes together, especially on the offensive side of the ball, but J-Rod's showing he can just do it all on his own as well, and able to put one up for the Griffins and tie up the game. But I'm really excited to see. I mean, Goose has looked a lot better. I'm still looking for Dan to step up. And you're talking, in between games. Oh, a great shot by Crotera in the corner, and gonna find the back of the net, catching the defense kind of sleeping here. As Insano not expecting anybody to challenge that ball, and Mealy not able to get to that touch either. So obviously not expecting a second player of the Griffins to dive into the corner like that. But Crotera gonna find the back of the net with an insane shot.
Ventus, have you seen the movie American Sniper?
No, I have not.
Well, that's basically what just happened. Crow absolutely sniped that one in the back of the net. I mean, I didn't even see him on my screen until the ball was sailing towards the net. So an insane shot from him. But, as you mentioned, I do think Dan does need to step up a little bit. I mean, he wants this win super badly. An insane save from him, though. That is one thing he has been doing well, and that is the defensive side of the pitch. As he's going to go for a Musty himself. GM on GM Musty off we have here is Goose. Gonna get a touch, gonna get bumped away. Crotera wreaking havoc in net, but Mealy doesn't have boost. And Goose gonna make a beautiful play, a much needed play, because that could have been real dangerous. Off the backboard it goes. Crotera gonna send it to the sidewall. Dan gonna get a touch himself, and now Crotera gets demoed. And now J-Rod's gonna have to collect this and buy some time. He gets it past one. Mealy sending it out. Crotera, a risky challenge, but a challenge that he's going to be glad that he took, as Dan gets boost, gets a nice 50. The ball is up. Insano. Can he put it away? Oh no, he just barely misses the open net. And you know what? As they say, Ventus, the hardest shot in the game is what, Ventus? What would you say the hardest shot in the game is?
It's an open net.
Yeah.
And it looks like maybe an open net opportunity going to be saved. A great save by Dan. Almost another open net opportunity for the side of Griffins, but Dan able to get back. And you talked about Dan and his great defensive skills, but he's also able to generate a lot of, offensive ability with his team as well. And we just have not seen that yet. A shot by J-Rod, and he kind of just expected, who was that, Insano to get a touch, and when he didn't, it looks like a ghost touch came out. Not even gonna lie, I saw a ghost touch on my screen. So obviously, J-Rod not kind of expecting, he just kind of let go of the controller, but his car was already lined up for the shot. Gonna put that one home, give the Griffins a 3-0 lead. But I was talking about Dan, and he's still able to generate the... Maybe I just need to stop talking about Dan, because Griffins seem to always score when I try to talk about Dan. And I mean, a good shot there by Mealy, and Insano having to play the touch by J-Rod, and not able to get the touch from Mealy. That one's gonna give the Griffins a 4-1 lead, and I'll just stop talking about Dan.
Aren't you glad I didn't make you make your prediction now? Because I mean, it would have been some bias there. It's looking like right now Snowstorm are gonna lose this game. Statistically, it's looking like that. But wait, Insano could tip the scales here if he can get to this, and of course he can. It is now a 2-goal difference between both these teams, and can Snowstorm slowly crawl their way back into this one?
Yeah, and that's a good play there by Insano. Just able to get the beat on one, and Crotera trying to take a little bit too much time and trying to control the ball, which, Griffins have done really well with controlling the ball and good first touches so far in this series. So I'm not surprised that he tried to go for a controlled touch there, but maybe a little bit too greedy, because Insano was, breathing down the back of his neck and able to put that one away, but he's not able to put that one away.
Oh.
As 2 shots off the crossbar, much needed goals from Snowstorm, and they are unable to do so.
Wow, as a great pass from Mealy to J-Rod, Crotera is going to be the one to finish. And you know what? The difference between both these teams are the execution. Griffin's executing on a high level right now, but whenever Snowstorm get an opportunity, they just can't find the back of the net. And this time for the Griffins, it's going to be Crotera. And Crotera is having himself a game. 2 goals, 1 assist, 1 save on 2 shots. I mean, he's shooting 100%. I mean, that's a guy you want on your Nemesis fantasy team. Any fantasy owners. I mean, I think you have a fantasy team, right, Ventus?
I do have a fantasy team.
Mm-hmm.
I am actually currently sitting at 2-0. My fantasy team
Wow.
has been great. And it looks like Dan, finally, as soon as I don't talk about Dan, Dan's going to show up big here and get a goal. It looks like a good bump against Crotera from Goose, and Dan going to put that one open net. And there's still 40 seconds left. Snowstorm could make a comeback here. But yeah, Crotera having a great series so far. I know last game he had about 500 points with 2 more goals and an assist as well. So he's been a big help to this Griffins roster, and a big reason why they're doing so well. But Goose saying that Snowstorm is not done and out yet. Gonna put a great shot on target there from a great pass from Insano, and it looks like Insano kind of starting to realize and mesh with Snowstorm, having 3 assists so far in this game number 2.
Yeah, it was a little careless from the Griffins. They went for a little bit of a risky play, 2 pre-jumps, and they tried to pass it to each other midair. So it's plays like that that just can't happen, especially if you're trying to close the game out. As Insano is just going to play, it seems like kickball with the ball real quick. He's just kicking it up to himself as Crotera is going to get a touch. 10 seconds remaining. Can the Griffins pull this one out, or can Snowstorm make a surprising comeback here? Insano gets a touch over to Goose. Goose with 0 boost. It's off the side while Mealy is going to help Snowstorm up and keep the ball up in the air, but it's eventually going to fall to the turf. Griffins up 2-0. And, you know, even though it was a little closer of a game this time, I feel like Griffins are still in the driver's seat. And, you know, this train, it's heading to the station soon. And Snowstorm, I don't think they have anything to stop this Griffins team right now. So they need to find some kind of magic. I saw some good plays coming out from Insano and Goose and Dan as well on the defensive side. So they just need to mesh better together, and I feel like slowly but surely they're gonna find their way. And you predicted Game 5, am I correct, Ventus?
I did. I also predicted that Snowstorm would lose game number 1 and 2. I said that they were going to start off a little slow, and then they were going to be able to figure things out in game number 3. And I mean, it seems like so far in game number 2, they started putting some of the pieces back together. I talked about Insano getting 3 assists there, and, you know, Goose and Dan finally starting to put some of those goals away and those opportunities, and they still missed some of those opportunities as well. They weren't able to capitalize on a couple open nets. And if you count those, I mean, obviously they didn't score those, but if you were to count those, Snowstorm would have actually won. So I think it's a little bit closer than you realize between these two teams. And, you know, I'm hoping that Snowstorm is able to prove me right here as we kick off game number 3.
You know, for Snowstorm's sake, I'm just gonna recognize Insano, Goose, and, you know, there's a third mysterious player that I don't really know who he is, you know, just for their sake. Because whenever we talk about... Okay, all right, well, you know, J-Rod's just gonna shut me up. It seems like the Griffins have just found their stride way too early. Yeah, all right.
As soon as us casters talk about Dan, the Griffins seem to always score, and even when we didn't mention him by name, it seems like
it's like
universe...
Voldemort.
He who shall not be named is,
bro.
I mean, a great play there by J-Rod, and it looks... I remember a demo was the opening to that scoring opportunity, so a great demo. I don't remember who exactly had that demo, but it was a great play nonetheless.
Oh, 100%. Griffins have just been helping each other out immensely. Their team play is unparalleled, but wait a second. Could be a little dangerous. Dan unable to reach that one, and Mealy over to Crotera. It's freer than a soup kitchen. Crotera is going to get his first of the game.
Yeah, and, you know, Mealy just beating one, getting a pop past 2, tapping it by the third man, doing all the work. Crotera able to just, you know, score the open net, one of the hardest things to do in all of Rocket League. And, you know, Griffins, you know, opening up very strong in game number 3. Maybe, you know, they saw my prediction and decided they wanted to go against the train, but Goose kind of getting a little roller in a pinch 50, I believe, off of Mealy, and it's gonna hit post and you know, bounce in. I mean, Snowstorm, even though it wasn't really a goal that they earned, you know, it's at least a start.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I feel as though that is the goal that's going to spark things for them. Hopefully is... Wait, that might just go in almost. It's off the backboard. Insano with a shot. J-Rod going to bat it away. Dan off the backboard. Can someone get there? No. Goose going all the way back with a ton of boost. He's going to send it over to the side. Mealy going to corral that one. It's floating in front of the Snowstorm yet again. And Crotera is yet again going to get another goal.
Yeah, and I mean, that's another one of those things where we saw they had a couple of shot opportunities for the side of Snowstorm, but not able to put them on target. As, you know, it might have been a tough shot for Dan, but he kind of put it off the backboard and just allowed the Griffins to have a counterattack with, you know, only Goose as the last man back in a very difficult position. So, you know, one of those things where you really want to try to capitalize on those opportunities. But Griffins have done really well, you know, this series and this game, just being able to get the beats on Snowstorm, generate pressure, and really just whenever they generate pressure, they're just able to score. It's seemingly on command with a great shot by Mealy, but an even better save by Goose.
Yeah, that was almost clip-worthy, but, you know, Goose, he he has to be a little bit of a party pooper sometimes, and I feel like, he's been the only one on the Snowstorm side who's really come alive. And regardless of that goal, it just seems as though he's the only one playing defense. And you know what? The only time he's not playing defense, of course, a goal goes in.
Yeah, it's such an awkward transition between Dan and Insano there. I mean, Insano completely leaving the ball to rotate back. Dan trying to push up early, it seems like, to create some of that pressure. He gets an awkward, position to be put the ball around him, and then Insano kind of has to try to half flip to get back as he over rotated from back post to front post, and it's just like that defensive misrotation from the Snowstorm side of things is continuously allowing goals to be scored on the side of Griffins, and Griffins unrelenting in their pursuit of continuous goals.
That, you know what? This game might be a wash. This series might be a wash. But you know what, Snowstorm? Why don't you get some goals for us for the road? I know some of the Sub-Zero org fanatics are not going to be too happy with this result, but I think overall can't really put it past them. I mean, they didn't have their entire roster. They didn't have their top 2 players, and they sub in a brand new guy who, I think he's played well. He just doesn't rotate and mesh well with the team, and Crotera is potentially setting this team up for a trip to Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have enough time for that. And, I mean, Griffins at this point, obviously, just trying to take the Nemesis fantasy members who have them on their teams, just, they want those guys to win for the week. Crotera with 3 goals, Mealy with 3 assists and a goal.
Oh my god!
It looks like another assist and another goal from J-Rod, and they do get the Brazil, and they're just gonna continue to score. I mean, this game is all but over, even though there is 2 minutes left. I don't see Snowstorm coming back.
I mean, this is just absolutely a cakewalk for the Griffins so far. But as I was saying, I mean, this is why it's super important to coordinate with your captains. For anyone listening, coordinate with your captains to find a time where you all can be available, because it's times like these where you're missing your top 2 players, where you're really like, dang, I wish I had the 2 best players on the team. But you know what? Snowstorm, I honestly thought they put up a better fight than I thought they were going to. I mean, especially given the circumstances. Given my flowers, of course, to Goose, I feel like despite his MMR being one of the lowest in Chally, he has been playing way above his pay grade as Dan gets a shot. J-Rod trying to protect the Brazil, and he ends up doing so successfly. Mealy maybe ruining the Brazil, and of course he does, because Mealy hates any sort of fun.
Yeah, and I mean, just a great bump by J-Rod, just not even caring about the Brazil, going for that last defender, Mealy gonna take another goal to give himself a second for the game. Maybe the Griffins are trying to get a hat trick on every single player. That would be very interesting. But yeah, I mean, I agree.
Oh my gosh. Oh, please, Snowstorm, do something.
They just want this game to be over, and Griffins are not letting them do so. I mean, continuous goals. I mean, there's no way Snowstorm can win, but there is a way that they can stop letting Griffins score.
You know what, Ventus? I think there's a secret key to all of this, and you're gonna be so surprised by this answer. I think it's playing defense. I think that's the real key. But I feel like their issue. Oh yeah, of course. I don't play defense, but I expect other teams to, because please. Oh my gosh. Okay. But but basically, I feel like Snowstorm's biggest problem is they're just like laying back and just letting Griffins do what they want. They're just sitting back on their heels in their zone and basically just allowing the Griffins. They're like, what? I invite all the bumps and all the demos and all the shenanigans in front of our net, and it's really costing them, especially in this game. This is one of the most lopsided games I've casted in a while, as Goose gonna put one away, and finally we see the blue team finally get a goal here.
It looks like my prediction might have been a little wrong.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You're trying to save me from asking for your prediction too late. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I just had it would have seemed biased if I voted for Griffins after they already scored 2 goals. I just couldn't do it. I had to be, biased to the other side just because I didn't want to seem biased. That's what it was.
You're a good man, Arthur
would've
Morgan.
I definitely would have picked Griffins to win, retrospectively.
You know what?
But
that's okay.
the clock finally winding down here. Another goal coming out.
No!
On the side of Griffins. They want the 1 second remaining. The game's not over yet, but it really should be.
Oh my
Griffins
gosh.
Currently winning 10-2. I mean, there's not even anything else we can really say about this game. I mean,
well,
it's
no,
all over.
Ventus. Mealy did it. Every player on their team has a hat trick. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's a little lopsided, but Griffins, they got it done. A very convincing fashion. But regardless, Snowstorm, they can always bounce back. They only lost, besides this game, one other game. So I feel like they have definitely a ways to go in terms of maybe this roster ever going on the pitch again. But, I feel like they did all right, but Griffins just looked that much better. I feel like Crotera surprised me with his performance. I mean, he's the fourth man on this roster in terms of MMR, but he did not look like that. He was looking incredible. It just seemed like they all synergized, and that's just an easy Griffins win. And a win that they desperately need, to try to catch up to the Snowstorm team in the standings. I mean, if you watched this game and had no context, you'd be like, how are the Griffins below these guys in the standings? But yeah, it was a great game overall, Ventus. And any final thoughts about this game?
I mean, not really, not too much. I mean, you would hope that Snowstorm would have, put a hand up a little bit more in game 3, but I mean, props to the Griffins. I mean, they just wanted to win. Yeah, they came out there like, yeah, we know they don't have their 2 starters, but we don't care. We're just gonna go out and try to score as many goals.
I mean,
And just
can you blame them?
Try to stat pad, No, I do not. If I were playing, as a perma sub in, Purgatory, I wish I would be able to play and could try to stat pad like that. But unfortunately, I am a sub for life. But that can't stop you, Gallium, from later doing it. I know you have a game later with Jaegers, and I'm wishing you the best in that series. I believe you're playing Rockerman, so obviously I'm gonna be rooting for you. But I mean, I guess that's gonna wrap things up for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first time ever playing Rockerman, so I'm scared about his aura. He just has so much aura. But thank you, Ventus, again for casting with me. It's always a pleasure. I think this is our first cast together, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I've ever casted with you.
I think so.
It was a great first time. Hope to cast with you for again in the future. And you guys have a great rest of your night. I appreciate you guys for sticking with us throughout all these 3 games, and I hope you got at least a little bit of joy out of one of these 3 games. And we'll see you back here on Wednesday for some insane matchups, and I'll be casting yet again. And Ventus, are you casting on Wednesday? I believe you are, right?
Yes, I am. Yep.
So if you feel like me and Ventus, you just gotta stay tuned until Wednesday. But that's gonna be all from us. You guys have a great rest of your night, and peace out.
All I wanna do is to put my arms around you and watch these moments fall back into place. All I wanna do is to make you stop and love me. How can I be blue when you catch me in these feelings like okay. I love you, I do need you, I do love you, I do need you, I love you, I do need you, oh, I love you, I do need you, oh, I love you, I do need you, I do love you, I do need you, I love you, I do need you, oh, I love you, I do need you.